This is October 21st, 2016. This is Yalak. This lesson is entitled, I Have Commanded the Ravens. Reading from the story of Elijah in 1 Kings chapter 17. And verse 1. And Elijah the Tishbite, who was of the inhabitants of Gilead, said unto Ahab, As the Most High of Israel liveth, before whom I stand, there shall not be dew nor rain these years, but according to my word. Sometimes when we look at the difficulties in our lives, we seem to think the worst of everything, as if this is just, as you know, we say the devil or somebody just hating me, things like that. We forget to keep in mind that at times things are coming into your life because of a word from the Most High. So the word of the Most High is setting things in action. And so a problem arises out of that word. Elijah said, by the power of the Most High, because this cannot be by Elijah's own doing, that there will not be dew, there will not be rain these years. So a long period of time, not just a couple weeks, according to the word that he was speaking that was backed by the Most High. So a problem came into the land because of something being done by God's word. So sometimes we have to be careful that we aren't giving so much attention to cursing what's happening around us or in our lives to the point where we're so caught up with it that we forget to look at the God factor in what's going on. Could we be moving quicker through the ills in life that we must face? Or at least moving through it in an easier, simpler way, with less hurts, less pains, less hiccups, less struggles, less difficulties, right? Could it be like that if we're looking at it from the point of view of the Most High possibly being behind what we're facing? So the word of the Most High came to him. Now it says in verse 2, And the word of the Most High came unto him, saying, Get thee hence, and turn thee eastward, and hide thyself by the brook Cherith, that is before Jordan. And it shall be that thou shalt drink of the brook, and I have commanded the ravens to feed thee there. Now later we know that the Most High commanded a widow woman as well to help take care of him, right? Which is a similar idea here as in the ravens being commanded. So he says, I have commanded the ravens to feed thee there. So he went and did according to the word of the Most High. For he went and dwelt by the brook Cherith that is before Jordan, and the ravens brought him bread and flesh in the morning, and bread and flesh in the evening, and he drank of the brook. Now, if we look here at verse 7, it says, And it came to pass after a while that the brook dried up, because there had been no rain in the land. So it's like I said before, maybe we're not always paying attention to the God factor, because we see that the very word that he spoke, which was the word of the Most High, came to affect even him. So because of the word of the Most High that was doing something in the land, he himself was put in a bad situation. You have to get to the place where you understand that the ills and the struggles and the difficulties in life and the curses in your life are happening because of what the Most High is doing. What he has set in motion, orchestrated. I've said it before in some earlier recording that some problems in life are too complicated and so well interwoven with each other, so that it is difficult for you to unravel it all and to make sense out of it. For it not to have been orchestrated and put together by the Most High. Because some problems are so well put together and interconnected, only God could have done this in your life. But notice Elijah followed the instruction of the Most High. What these prophets always did was to look at the word of the Most High, and that's how Israel would function. They would always be looking at the prophets, at the word of the Most High, in order to tell when the Most High was doing this or that. If you are going through grave difficulties in life and you are not paying attention enough and searching the word enough to find out what applies in your life and possible reasons why this or that might be going on and what you should do. Should you get up and go hide by the brook of Cherith or stay right here? If you aren't figuring out by the word and with prayer and meditation and the Most High's word what's going on in your life and how you should proceed, you're going to have a worse time going through what you're going through. Sometimes you got to put the brakes on different things that are going on in your life for a little bit to figure things out. But sometimes you got to put the brakes on your own thoughts that you have thought for years. Maybe certain things about you are not changing internally to help you get through what you're going through much easier, because you have neglected to change your thoughts of yesteryear. You must get to the point where your thoughts change and grow over time based on the word of the Most High. He was told to go hide by the brook Cherith. And I didn't read it, but later on he eventually, after the brook dried up, he was told to go to the widow woman of Zarephath. So he had to change his thinking. He can't say, well, the brook worked for a long time. I'm just going to stay here and wait and pray for the Most High and get people to pray with me for the Most High to stir up new life into this brook all over again. Because this was what the Most High said, and I like it here. I'm comfortable while I was drinking from the brook and getting food from the raven. I built up a nice cozy spot. I got all kinds of bushes and leaves and sticks and whatever to make a nice, cozy, comfortable hut. This works. It covers me, it shelters me, keeps me out from the cold air at night, and it blocks out enough sun at daytime to give me some nice shade this is a good spot. No, he had to leave that behind when the time came to move on. But the first way you must move on is in your mind, and let the rest work itself out afterward. You will hear from the Most High when your mind begins to change to think that the Most High is in this. He's looking for people who are looking for Him in what they're going through. Sometimes we're so focused on looking for a way out and trying to figure it out and getting help from this, that, or the other, instead of giving more time to looking for the Most High. Can I find you in this, my God? Where are you in all of this? What are you doing in the middle of all of this that I'm going through? How is it possible that this could be happening to me all over again? I cannot seem to get past this point. You must be in this, because there is no one who could just block my path like this all the time. You got to be in this. You notice, let's read this one here from, run back here now to Job. Notice here, it wasn't like this man was unrighteous. He said he was, Job 1 verse 1, that Job was perfect. There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared the Most High and eschewed evil. So he stayed away from doing evil. He avoided this stuff. So he wasn't sinful while this was happening to him. Then we know he entered into, some bad times in his life fairly quickly in the story. If you look at verse 10, it says, has not thou made an hedge about him? So this character here, identified as Satan, is saying here, haven't you made a hedge about him? Basically to protect him, right? And when you look at the word for hedge, it's talking about some kind of a fence, right? So some kind of a protection, a restraint. And that's what I was talking about from 1 Kings chapter 17, is that somehow you have to see that the Most High is in this. When you look at the life of Job and he's going through this, notice that the Most High was in the picture, dealing with everything about Job's calamity, about Job's unfortunate situations, about what Job was going through. And it was so orchestrated, so put together, that the Most High even put together a fence. And you're telling me he wasn't in the midst of your problems all these years? Or you're telling me as well that he wasn't in Job's problem coming together? Notice the problem could not come to Job if the Most High did not allow it to come to Job. And to show further, because clearly this character wanting to bring the damage had to be going to the Most High. So if he's getting access to Job, it's the Most High who allows that access. But to show that the problems were kind of put together or brought to Job through this character called Satan, where your problem might come through your job, or come through a spouse, or come through a friend that's being maybe evil to you. But however that problem is coming into your life, you have to look at what the Most High is showing in the story here with Job, is that he orchestrates the whole thing, interlocks everything so well that Job will not be destroyed. And we know the Most High prepared Job's trouble, and in that preparation he prepared Job for it, to the point where it shows that the Most High even prepared a fence in order to enforce his word that says you can go only so far with Job, but you can't get past this fence. So in the putting together of the problem, we have also a putting together of a fence or a barrier beyond which trouble cannot go. It can't go past a certain limit. So it might touch the man, but it does not destroy the man completely. It will challenge the man, but it does not take him apart where he cannot be, where he can't come together ever again. So the Most High set up that fence. And it's important also to understand that not only is the fence a barrier that does not allow Satan to get through to Job past a certain point, but Job cannot get outside of the confines of that fence or boundary, so that he always remains protected and can never be destroyed past that certain point. So if we run back to 1 Kings chapter 17, there is some sort of a barrier that has been set by ravens to protect Elijah, and a brook that is there to sustain him. So no matter how long, how many years this drought will last, a barrier prevents the man from being fully destroyed, Elijah. If you are not being fully destroyed, I know it hurts. If you aren't fully taken apart, even though you feel like it, if you're still in the game after all these years of going through what you're going through and you can still say a prayer, it's because there is a barrier that has not allowed you to be completely taken out. You got to see the Most High in the trouble that you're going through. You are still protected. And sometimes we feel when our trouble is riding on us and things have gotten so bad that we are not where we want to be and where we used to be, sometimes we forget that we are where He wants us to be. Because you used to go to the grocery store and pick up all you want. You used to go to the department store and buy what you want. You used to be able to run the car the way you wanted to. You used to live in this other side of town. You used to live in this kind of house. You used to own this. You used to travel there whenever you wanted to travel. You used to. Well, what if Elijah used to go to the grocery store, so to speak, whenever he wanted to? But now that has been removed. What if he could be free to travel anywhere he wanted to, whenever he wanted to? But now he can't travel as freely because there's a problem in the land and the Most High has confined him within barriers or a fenced area, like Job was fenced in, if I can play with the words. And so Elijah is no longer as free to travel and do whatever he wants because now he is fenced in. So there is a barrier around Elijah where the trouble cannot get to him past a certain point to totally destroy his body, But he also cannot be destroyed by going outside of that boundary as long as he stays within the fence or the confines of the word that says, go hide yourself by the brook, Cherith. As long as he remains within the confines and the provisions of the fenced up word or instruction that the Most High gave, go hide by that brook, then there the ravens will feed him. So he's not free to go shop where he wants to, like he used to, like you used to. He can't travel to where he wants to go, like you used to travel and go on all the vacations and everything that you want to and whatever. He's just kind of limited right now. But even though he is limited and he can't do all the things that he wants to, he is still being sustained and provided for. Sometimes we think that because we are limited that God's not with us. But even though Elijah was limited, he could see the provision of the Most High, the sustenance that was there, that the Most High was protecting him and keeping him. See, when the Most High is not allowing you to live the way you used to live, is he protecting you within the limitations that you now face? See, you may not be able to spread your wings, so to speak, as far as you used to. But your limitations in the problems that you're going through, when you feel you're not blessed like you used to be or like you want to be, your limitations are within the Most High's control. And your blessings for the moment are within your confines. Sometimes we feel we lack so much because we don't understand that when we are experiencing this or that kind of blessing like we used to experience, we're not understanding that you're still being blessed, but the blessings are operating in a different kind of way. When others were struggling to survive, Elijah was being provided for. And because we don't have what we used to have at this moment, even though it happened for years for Elijah, and he wasn't walking around complaining, but we go through it for years and we want to complain, even though we know we're under curses. But while people were struggling to survive, like the woman at Zarephath, who was struggling so much, she was free to move around wherever she wanted to, whereas Elijah was told to confine himself. She was free to move around. She could do whatever she wanted to. But with that freedom, that blessing of freedom, she was preparing to die. But the man whose freedom was a little bit limited, Elijah, where he was told to confine himself into a limited amount of blessing, he was the one who was surviving. I have commanded the ravens to feed thee there. Sometimes we feel that because we aren't getting what we used to get or what we want to get right now, that there are no blessings worth being thankful for. But while a woman was preparing to die, Elijah was just being provided for. Provided for in his limitation so much that he had a miracle locked up in him that was just waiting to overwhelm him and overflow from him to give her life at Zarephath when he got to her. So in her freedom, she was getting ready to die, but in his limitation, he was growing in might and power of the Spirit to give life and sustenance to her that would not end. I have commanded the ravens. Can I put this in perspective for you? I have commanded the ravens in a way that by the time you come out of that situation, of that confinement at the brook, you're going to have so much power and anointing and so much oozing out of you from the Most High. You're going to give life to a woman that was not confined like you were confined, but still getting ready to die. You're going to be the one to pump life into her. Sometimes we feel we are getting ready to die because we are confined and restricted in life. But we are missing the point of what the Creator is doing. That He is positioning us in the kind of place in life where that which has been removed from you is just freeing up some space where some more power can come into you of the very word of the Most High that's going to give you more life in the future and impart life to the next person whose path you're going to have to cross. And if you miss the word that's coming into you, if you miss the power that's coming into you, if you miss the growth that's trying to come into you in the time when you are restricted in life, you're not going to be ready when you get to the next person at Zarephath that you must impart some life unto. Maybe sometimes we are being restricted and blessings are stripped away from us because sometimes when we've got all this kind of things added and added and added to us, we don't grow in as spiritual a way as the Most High wants us to grow. When Israel was getting all the blessings like crazy, they were just like, it's no big deal. We always got this. So they were just like, they go pick up all the false gods and so on. They were losing sight of the spiritual part of them that should be walking the right path. Because sometimes when so many things are just added to us, it's like sometimes we just get flaky and whatever. But when the Most High stripped away some blessings and confined them to a little bit of blessing, then they could pay attention once again to the spiritual things, to the things that matter in the law. They could pay attention to His word some more and begin to grow closer to Him, and they would rebound spiritually and the blessings would return. They would grow more powerful again. In our time of Deuteronomy chapter 28 curses, when we are so restricted and he shall lend to thee, but you won't lend to them. In our time of being cornered and bottled up and low down and ever, we are having to grow and to press ourselves to find the Most High again, like Jeremiah 6:16, to see and find the old past. We are being pressed down while the rest of the world is just flourishing and being blessed like crazy. We are finding ourselves in a place where we have to press into the presence of the Most High to find Him. And in our time of restriction, we are being prepared to one day rule this Micah 4 verse 2 earth, where the law will go forth from Jerusalem. And we're going to be running it by the power and direction of the Most High. See that? I've commanded the ravens. Sometimes when you're going through a time where you feel you're not being blessed, look again. You are being blessed, but you're not being blessed by the riches you want to be blessed by the kind of things that you desire to be blessed by right now. but you're still being blessed by ravens. Have you stopped lately to identify ravens in your life? Take a look at it again and see that the Most High has not deserted you. If He did, you wouldn't even be around to hear any of this. Sometimes we just need to be more thankful, quicker and longer than we'll complain and be agitated. You know, if you are more thankful for the little things, for the raven, for that capacity in you to just pull through when you receive this or that smaller blessing from the Most High, then you will realize that you really are making it. And so you want a house full of food, but the Most High keeps you on a loaf of bread, and it's been 5 years. And when you add up all that you've had over the 5 years, it seems like it just amounts to a loaf of bread. It's just like small blessings. And you feel, I need a great and mighty miracle to pull me through this time in life. But in closing, I ask you, isn't it a mighty and a wondrous kind of miracle that for 5 years, when you didn't have the riches, when you didn't have the house full, when you didn't have the barn full, when you didn't have the garage full, when you didn't have, isn't it a mighty kind of blessing still that only a loaf of bread lasted you 5 years, so that you made it through 5 more years on a loaf of bread that a lot of other people out there could not survive on? But why did you survive on it? Because I have commanded the loaf of bread. I commanded you to make it through this time in your life on that little that you felt you would never be able to survive on. I commanded you to make it through even though they have cursed you. I commanded you to make it through on the pain of life. I commanded you to make it through in spite of the ridicule that they have given in your life, in spite of what they have injected and infused in your life to make sure your path was more difficult to walk. I commanded you to walk through every storm, to walk through every difficulty, to walk through every problem in your life that should have taken you out. I commanded you to survive on the smaller things in life. I commanded you. And now I'm going to show you who I really am. Not necessarily by giving you the $1 million tomorrow, but just by letting you turn around to see, to look back over the years to see, if I was not there, you could not have made it. Now you can see where I'm going to take you in the future. To be the person I always wanted you to be. Because if you can tell that I was there in the past all along to bring you to this point, you're going to have the kind of trust you need and the faith you need to walk through the places in life ahead of you I'm choosing for you to walk through, that you would not be able to walk through if you didn't make it through what I took you through. And when we begin to change our perspective like that, we will understand if the Most High took me through all of that all these years, I can make it through what's ahead. And so when He begins to change your situation now and begins to move you into some more challenging kind of scenarios, you are going to understand that if you didn't have the downtime where the ravens had to come and to deal with you, you would not be able to walk through the more mighty and powerful times ahead, when you are going to have to exercise the trust, to exercise the faith, exercise the miracle of the word in your life and the word in other people's lives who are waiting to find the Most High, who are going to find it by a word that comes out of your mind, out of your heart, out of your mouth, that the Most High placed in it in the times when you were going through, where you had to rely on the ravens, in the times when the Most High said, I have commanded the ravens just for you.